Do you like eating sandwiches? Well, I guess your answer is a yes, because I love eating sandwiches. But today we're not going to talk about how do we make sandwiches. That is not the objective of our discussion. In fact, the topic is dealt with how do we give feedback using what is popularly called as the sandwich method of giving feedback. Now, often giving feedback in itself can be a complicated process, especially if the other person is not receptive to it. So how do we use the sandwich method to give feedback to a person so that he or she understands it, acknowledges it, and perhaps works on it as well? So what is the sandwich method? Now, if you've seen a sandwich, there are multiple layers to a sandwich. The first layer on top is something which is nice. It has got cream. It has got other veggies in it. The middle layer has got some spice in it. Perhaps it might be even hotter. And the layer below is again something which is palatable. Now, typically, this is what we do in the context of giving feedback using the sandwich method, which means if there is something uncomfortable that you need to share, that forms the middle layer of the sandwich. The top layer and the bottom layer are pieces of information which are more palatable, which are more pleasant to hear. So the unpleasant piece of information goes right in between, and the top layer and the bottom layer includes the palatable or the pleasant piece of information. So let's understand this better using an example. Let's say there is a person in your team who needs to be given feedback. Let's say his name is Ravi. So you're talking to Ravi, and Ravi is usually a great performer, and his performance has been really, really exemplary. However, there are certain behavioral challenges with Ravi that you need to bring to notice. Maybe the challenge is that he often takes a lot of breaks, which tends to disturb the rhythm within the team. The discipline is not there, and that needs to be brought to his attention. But the problem is Ravi is a great performer, so you don't want to make him feel bad, but at the same time, you still need to tell him what is the problem. You can't beat around the bush. Okay. So here is what you do. You start the conversation with Ravi and say that, Ravi, I would like to talk to you about something. So first and foremost, congratulations. Your performance for the last 6 months has been exemplary. I think everyone in the team acknowledges that. And even I believe that your performance has been great, phenomenal. So please continue with that. However, there is something which I would also want to help you understand. Maybe this will help you become better in your performance and create the right impression about yourself at the workplace. And the challenge that I see, Ravi, right now is you tend to take a lot of these breaks in between. Almost every hour or so, you tend to take a break, maybe for a cup of tea or a smoke break. Now, I don't want to say that that is bad, but the number of breaks that you take definitely is on the higher side. And because of which, what happens is the discipline in the team gets disturbed. I don't want people to have an impression about you that you are unprofessional. So here is what I would like to suggest. Maybe you plan your breaks and accordingly take a break only when required. Maybe you can cut down the number of breaks. Rather than taking 5 breaks, take 3 breaks to begin with and see how you can go about it. And then slowly, as you get better, you can reduce them even further. If you do this really well, what I definitely see is a year down the line, you will not only be a great performer, but I think people will also look up to you in terms of learning professionalism because you're already good at your work. So did you see what we did here? We spoke about the performance of Ravi over the last 6 months, which is very, very good. But we also spoke about the behavioral challenge that needs to be addressed. And then we finally concluded that by encouraging Ravi to display exceptional professional behavior as well. So you need to talk about 2 good things that the other person is doing. And between those 2 layers of good things, you also chip in the thing which needs to be brought to his or her notice, which is not functional or not working at the time. Now, why do we do this? There are a couple of reasons why we need to use a feedback method like this. Often, people are not receptive to open feedback, and this happens for a couple of reasons. In some cases, people have never been given a feedback, so they don't really know how to reciprocate to it. Sometimes people are emotionally turbulent. So if you tell them only what is not working, then perhaps they can get overwhelmed by that information. Sometimes when people are fresh in the system, they don't know how to receive feedback really well. So initially, when people are not receptive or they are not aware about the context of corporate feedback, sandwich feedback can be an excellent method for you to share your feedback. Sometimes it will also help you to manage people's ego till the time they become more receptive to it. So do you continue with the sandwich method of feedback forever? The answer is no. You do it as a starting point, and as and when people get more comfortable with open, straightforward feedback, then you can be more candid with them. But initially, this could be a great way for you to share feedback. So try the sandwich method of feedback. It has got few advantages. One is you can share what you want to share. Second, you don't have to really beat around the bush. You can still say what you want to say in a manner that is palatable. And number three, it is extremely simple to use. Okay, there is nothing complicated about it, and you can use it right from the word go. So try using the sandwich method of giving feedback. I'm sure it will definitely yield you some great positive results. So the next time we meet up, do let me know how was your experience with the sandwich method. And yes, please keep enjoying your sandwiches too side by side. Thank you so much for listening.